Okay, so you guys sent us a ton of stuff about social media this time.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's thinking about this stuff.
And for good reason.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Right. Like, it's how we connect with people,
Staying informed.
share our lives.
Build businesses, even.
It's huge.
Totally. And that's exactly why we need to be smart about how we use it.
For sure. Like, the more we rely on social media,
The more important it becomes.
to really understand how to protect ourselves.
Our data. Our privacy.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive,
Uh-huh.
we're going to take a look at data protection on social media,
Okay. Love it.
but from two different angles.
Okay.
First, we'll focus on what you as an individual
Right.
can do to stay safe online.
Makes sense.
And then we'll switch gears
Okay.
and look at it from a business perspective,
Got it.
how companies can safeguard their data and build trust with their users.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Huge. And to guide us through this whole thing,
Yeah. We've got some super helpful information from MCHM Abogados.
they're a law firm based in Almeria, Spain.
Right. But they work with people and companies all over the country.
Yeah, they've got this reputation for being really dedicated and efficient.
And they know their stuff.
Totally. So if you're ever looking for legal help,
No matter what the situation is.
they're a great resource.
For sure. Their main office is in Almeria capital at Calle Santiago Vergara 20.
That's 04008 Almeria, if you're looking it up.
Exactly. And their phone number is 950-106-453.
But if it's an emergency, you can call 674-216559.
They've also got an email address.
It's info@MCHMAbogados.es.
Perfect. So our mission today
Yeah.
is to basically go through all this info from MCHM Abogados
Okay.
and pull out the most important actionable advice
Love it.
so we can all learn how to use social media
Right.
in a way that's both effective and safe.
Like getting the most out of it.
Exactly, without putting ourselves at risk.
Totally. Finding that balance.
Right, so let's start with the individual stuff.
Okay.
What are some of the basic things that everyone should be doing?
To protect their data online.
Right.
Well, I think one of the most important things, and it's something that people often overlook,
Uh-huh.
is your privacy settings.
Okay.
Each social media platform is basically like,
Okay.
it's like a customizable security system for your information.
Interesting.
So you really need to take the time to
Okay.
review and adjust these settings on every platform you use.
So it's not just a one and done kind of thing.
No, not at all.
Got it. So what are some of the things we should be looking at when we go into those settings?
Okay, so you want to think about who can see what you're posting,
Okay.
your personal details, your photos, everything.
Like who has access to that stuff?
Exactly. And most platforms give you a lot of control over this.
Okay.
You can choose to share things with everyone
Right.
or just your friends.
Or even create custom groups.
Yes, exactly. You don't need that random person from high school
Yeah.
seeing every single thing you post.
Right. Right.
And another important one is geolocation.
Okay.
It can be fun to share where you are in real time.
Yeah, I like to do that sometimes.
I know. But it also gives away a lot of information about your habits.
Oh, like where you go and when?
Yeah. And that can be risky.
Okay, so maybe think twice before attacking that cafe.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we've got our privacy settings dialed in. What's
Yeah.
next?
Strong, unique passwords.
I feel like I hear this all the time.
I know it sounds so basic, but it's still one of the most important things you can do.
To protect yourself online.
Yes, a strong password should be a mix of upper and lowercase letters,
Okay,
numbers, and special characters.
got it.
And the longer, the better.
So like my pet's name is probably not a good idea.
No, probably not. Think of your password as the key to your digital life.
Okay.
You wouldn't put a flimsy lock on your front door.
Right.
So don't do it with your online accounts.
Makes sense. And you should also change your passwords regularly.
Yes, don't let them get stale.
And I've heard this before, but
Yeah,
never use the same password for multiple accounts.
this is so important.
Why is that?
Well, if one of those accounts gets hacked
Okay.
and you've used the same password everywhere,
Uh-oh.
then all of your accounts are vulnerable.
That's scary.
It is. So a password manager can be really helpful here.
How so?
It can generate strong, unique passwords for you
Okay.
and store them securely so you don't have to remember them all.
That sounds pretty convenient, actually.
It is. It takes a little getting used to, but
Yeah.
it's worth it for the added security.
Okay, so our privacy settings are good.
Uh-huh.
Our passwords are strong.
Yes.
What else do we need to be thinking about?
What you're actually sharing online.
Okay, like the content of our posts.
Exactly. Once something is out there on social media,
Yeah,
it can be really hard to completely get rid of it.
that's true.
So be careful about what you post.
Okay.
Don't share things like your home address
Right.
or your phone number.
Or banking info.
Especially not that.
Yeah, that seems obvious, but
I know, but people do it.
I guess it's easy to forget sometimes.
Yeah, especially when you're caught up in the moment.
Right, so it's like we're having a conversation in a public place.
Exactly. You wouldn't shout out your bank details to everyone.
No, definitely not.
So don't do it online either.
And it's not just text either.
Right.
What about photos and videos?
Be mindful of what's in the background.
Okay.
Not accidentally reveal your location
Mm-hmm.
or your daily routine.
Or even things like security codes.
Yeah, if you're not careful.
So maybe crop those photos before posting them.
Good idea. And always be aware of your surroundings.
Oh, okay, so we're being careful about what we post.
Yes.
What about who we connect with?
Ah, yes, friend requests.
This is a tricky one.
It can be.
Because you don't want to seem rude,
Right?
but you also need to protect yourself.
Exactly. And remember your social media connections.
Oh,
They can access your information.
So be careful about who you let in.
Yes. Be wary of requests from people you don't know,
Oh, okay.
especially if you don't have any mutual friends.
That makes sense. What about fake profiles?
All those are everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
They're often created to collect personal data
Oh, okay.
or spread misinformation.
And sometimes they'll try to scam you
Yeah, they might try to build trust over time.
and then ask for money or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're not sure about a request,
Yeah.
it's always better to err on the side of caution
So just ignore it.
or decline it.
Okay, got it. And what about all those apps and games that connect to our social media accounts?
Oh yeah, you need to manage those carefully.
Okay.
They often ask for permission to access your data.
And we just click yes without thinking.
A lot of people do.
So what should we be doing?
Regularly review the list of connected apps
Okay.
and revoke access for any that you don't use anymore.
Got it. Because even if you're not actively using them,
They might still have access to your info.
that's a good reminder.
It's easy to forget about those things.
Totally. Okay, so that covers a lot of the individual stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
But what about businesses?
Okay, so for businesses,
Yeah.
the stakes are even higher.
How so?
Well, they're not just protecting their own data.
Mm-hmm.
They're also responsible for the data of their customers and employees.
So there's more at risk.
Definitely. And that's why transparency is so important.
Okay.
They need to have clear and easy to understand privacy policies.
That makes sense. So people know what's happening with their data.
Exactly. And it's not enough to just have a policy.
Okay.
They need to actively communicate it to their users.
So like put it in a place where people can actually find it.
Yes, exactly. Like link to it from their website and social media profiles.
Make sure it's written in plain language.
Yes. Avoid all that legal jargon.
So the average person can actually understand it.
Exactly. It should clearly explain what data is being collected,
Okay.
how it's being used, who it might be shared with,
Uh-huh.
and how the company is protecting it.
That all sounds pretty important.
It shows that the company is taking data privacy seriously.
And that they respect their users.
Yes, and these policies should be updated regularly too.
To keep up with any changes.
Right, like new regulations or changes to their practices.
So it's an ongoing process.
Absolutely.
Okay, so transparency is key.
Uh-huh.
What else should businesses be doing?
They need to train their employees.
On data protection.
Yes, everyone in the company should understand their role in keeping data safe.
Not just the IT people.
Right, it's a shared responsibility.
So what kind of training are we talking about?
Well, they need to know how to recognize phishing scams.
Those fake emails and messages?
Yes, exactly. And they need to understand the importance of strong passwords.
For company accounts.
Yes. And what kind of information should never be shared online.
So basically creating a culture of security.
Yes, where everyone is aware of the risks.
And knows how to mitigate them.
Exactly.
MCHM Abogados also talk about the importance of simulated phishing attacks.
So yeah, those are great. They help to test the team's vigilance.
Okay.
See how they respond to potential threats.
In a safe environment.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a more effective way to learn than just reading about it.
So it's like a fire drill, but for cybersecurity?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've got our policies and our training in place.
Check and check.
What about the actual technology?
Ah, yes, the tools and practices.
What are some of the essentials?
Well, first, they need to have a strong foundation.
Okay.
Things like firewalls.
To block unauthorized access.
Right. Antivirus software to detect and remove malware.
Uh-huh. And intrusion detection systems.
Yes. To monitor for suspicious activity.
Got it. And what about social media specifically?
Two-factor authentication is a must.
Okay, so that's when you need a code from your phone,
Yes, to log in.
even if you have the password.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it much harder for hackers to get in.
That seems pretty standard these days.
It is, which is great.
Okay, what else?
Ongoing monitoring and security audits.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing?
No,
Okay.
definitely not.
Why is that?
Because the threat landscape is constantly evolving.
Oh, so new vulnerabilities are always popping up.
Exactly. So
Okay.
companies need to be proactive.
Okay.
Regularly check their systems for weaknesses.
And monitor their social media activity.
Yes. Look for any signs of suspicious behavior.
Like what?
Unusual login attempts,
Okay.
unauthorized posts,
Uh-huh.
changes to account settings.
So basically anything that seems out of place.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about prevention. But what happens if, despite all of that,
Yeah.
a breach does occur?
It's not a matter of if.
But when?
Exactly. So companies need to have a plan.
A crisis management plan.
Yes, and it needs to be clear and detailed.
Okay.
Who does what?
Uh-huh.
How to contain the breach.
Okay.
How to recover data.
What about communicating with customers?
That's crucial.
So they know what's going on.
Yes, and they need to do it quickly and honestly.
Even if it's bad news.
Yes, transparency is key.
To maintain trust.
Exactly, because if they try to hide it.
It'll just make things worse.
Absolutely.
So it seems like the main takeaway here
Yeah.
is that everyone needs to be proactive and prepared, whether you're an individual or a company.
Data protection is a shared responsibility.
Right. We all need to do our part.
To stay safe online.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
let's quickly recap the key advice
Sounds good.
for individuals.
Yeah.
Focus on your privacy settings. Create strong, unique passwords.
Okay.
Be mindful of what you share.
Right.
Be cautious about who you connect with. And regularly audit those connected apps.
Good stuff.
And for businesses,
Okay.
establish clear and accessible privacy policies. Invest in team training.
Got it.
Implement strong security tools and practices.
Like two-factor authentication.
Exactly.
Right.
Conduct proactive monitoring and regular audits.
Right.
And have a crisis management plan ready to go.
Just in case.
This has been a super helpful deep dive
It has.
into a really important topic.
Definitely one that affects all of us.
So as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
How do you see your own role evolving
Oh, yeah.
in this world of digital privacy where everything is so connected?
Right.
How can you protect your own data
Right.
and be mindful of the data of others?
I like that.
And it's not just about social media.
Right.
These principles apply to all aspects of our digital lives.
It's something we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
Sounds good.